Okay, this is lesson 1.4, solving equations with combining like terms, distributive property, and variables on both sides. So this is where we're going to bring it all together. All the things we've been learning is going to all come together in one big, long equation, but you guys can do it. All right, so take a minute, pause the video, and do your warm-up, and then come on back, and we will go through it together. All right, go ahead and check your answers. Pause the video again and check your answers. Make sure you did all your steps correctly. And then come on back and we're going to work on that number 3 down there in the corner with the fractions on it. All right, bring this guy up here. Move these two down so they're out of the way. All right, so I'm solving. This is what I'm solving right here, the 2x, 2/3 x equals 6 minus x over 3. So again, if there's no number in front of the x, I'm going to slip a little 1 in there. I can do that. All right, on my left side of my equation, I've got one term only, and it has an x in it, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that x there because I want my x's on the left. On my right side, I've got one term without an x, this 6 right here, that can stay here because it doesn't have an x, but this other guy, the negative 1x over 3, has to get, I have to get rid of it on the other, and put it on the other side. So I'm going to do the opposite of subtract 1/3 x, which is add 1/3 x to both sides. So 2/3 x plus 1/3 x. So 2/3 plus 1/3. Add the numerators, keep the denominator. That's going to reduce to 1x is equal to, and then of course these are going to cancel because they're opposites. One's positive, one's negative. Equals 6. And then you can get rid of the 1, or you can just divide both sides by 1. So x is going to be equal to 6. Final answer. All right, go ahead and pause the video. Take care of your notebook. There is your table of contents and your objective. Again, here's your steps. They're going to be a little bit different this time because we're combining all of our steps together. So make sure you get them all written down so you have something to follow every time you solve an equation. All right, looks big and nasty, doesn't it? Well, it's really not. And keep in mind that everything that we do is going to make it just a little bit smaller. All right, so except for maybe the first step when we distribute, that's going to make it a little bit bigger actually, but then after that it's going to really get simple and it's going to start getting smaller and smaller every time. All right, so there's my line. I want my x's on the left. Okay, so as you recall, if there's no number out in front here with a negative sign, I can slip in a little 1 right there, which means I'm going to multiply negative 1 times positive 2x, which is going to give me negative 2x. Negative 1 times positive 2 is going to give me negative 2. And then this guy is just hanging out here. He has nothing to do with any of that stuff. All right, so on this side, I have 8 plus, this is a positive 6 times a negative 3x. That's going to give me negative 18x. Positive 6 times positive 3 gives me positive 18. All right, looking on my left side, I see 2 terms with x's, so I need to put those together. So negative 2x minus 2x is going to give me negative 4x. Again, they don't come out to 0 unless one's positive and one's negative. So since they're both negative, it's going to be negative 4x minus 2 equals. Then on my right side, I see 2 terms without x's, so I can put those together. 18 plus 8 is 26 minus 18x. So look how much smaller it got just by combining my like terms. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing as I did before, where all my x's are going to go on the left and all my numbers are going to go on the right. So I'll start out by adding 2 to both sides. That's going to give me negative 4x, because these will cancel, is equal to 28 minus 18x. Then my x over here is going to have to go away, so I'm going to add 18x to both sides. All right, negative 4 plus 18 is going to give me positive 14x equals 28, because these are going to cancel. And then when I divide both sides by 14, that is going to give me x equals 2, final answer. All right, let's see if we can do another one of those. Draw your line. Okay, looking on my left side, this one's actually easier than the last one because I don't have to do any distributing. So looking at my left side, I see that I have two terms that both have x's, so I'm going to put those together. 5 minus 3 is 2x. I also have two terms that don't have any x's, so I'm going to put those together. 6 minus 2 is positive 4. And then over on my right, there's nothing I can put together. One has an x and one doesn't, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. All right, so it's getting smaller. I need to get all my x's over here and all my numbers over here. Okay, so let's start by subtracting 4 both sides. Again, if you wanted to move the x's first, you could, but I'm just doing it in the order that I choose. Okay, so 2x is going to be left over here because the 4's will cancel. And then over here, I'm left with 4x. 12 minus 4 is positive 8. All right, here go the x's. Minus 4x, minus 4x. That will leave me with negative 2x over here, equals, and of course these are going to cancel, equals positive 8. Make sure that if your coefficient of the x right here is negative, which this is, that you're also dividing by a negative. They have to be the exact same number or they won't cancel out. So make sure it's the same number. So in the end, I've got x's left because these guys cancel out because they are the same number, equals negative 4. Final answer. All right, let's see what surprise we have under here. All right, similar problem. Why don't you go ahead, since there's really no distributing going on here, why don't you go ahead, combine your like terms, and reduce it and solve it, and then come on back and see if you got the right answer. All right, go ahead and check your work. Make sure you did all your math correctly. I want to talk about this answer really quickly. You should try to reduce that. We talked about that in an earlier lesson. Your calculator will do it for you typically, but if you don't have your calculator with you, you should be thinking, hey, those are both even numbers. I can divide both the top and the bottom by 2. So if I divide 26 by 2, I get 13. And if I divide negative 8 by 4, I get negative 4. And I think that's about as far as I can go. So x is equal to negative 26, 26 over negative 8. But the better answer is the reduced fraction, 13 over negative 4. All right. Again, that's combining like terms, so go ahead and pause the video and see if you can come up with the right answer. All right, go ahead and check your work. Make sure you did all your steps correctly. I kind of was running out of room there, but I squished it in somehow. So you should have come up with x equals 8. Okay, let's move ahead and fix that problem. All right, so go ahead and let's just do this since we've got some distribution going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my line down my equal sign, and then I'm going to distribute my positive 3 all the way through. That will give me 3x plus 12 equals x plus 6. So you should be able to take it from here easy peasy, minus 12 both sides. That will leave me with 3x on this side equals x minus 6 on this side. All right, then I'm going to have to, looks like subtract x because that's a positive x. I want the x's to go away. That will leave me with 2x over here equals negative 6. And make sure that negative travels with the 6. They go together. Then I'm going to divide by 2. And my final answer will be x equals negative 3. All right. Let's see what's under the green mask. Okay. Another fraction. Oh, goody. Okay, so before we wanted to, when we multiply both sides by 4 to get rid of that fraction, we're going to do the same thing on this problem, except it's a little bit different this time because this time I've got 2 things over here, where before I didn't have 2 things on that side. I only had 1. So when I multiply both sides by 4, it's going to look a little bit different. Not much, it's just a little. So think of this as 4x plus 10 in parentheses. So when I multiply this side by 4, I have to multiply this whole other side by 4. So you're actually multiplying both of those things by 4. So I'm going to go ahead and put parentheses around that. So these 4's are still going to cancel. That's going to leave me 6 times 2x minus 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and move this times 4 out front. I can do that because when you're multiplying things, order doesn't matter. For example, 3 times 2 is the same as 2 times 3. They're both 6. So it doesn't matter if I multiply by 4 at the end or if I multiply by the 4 up front. So I'm going to rewrite that as 4 times 4x plus 10 in parentheses. Okay, so I've got a positive 6 times a positive 2x. That's going to give me positive 12x. Positive 6 times negative 1. Positive times a negative is a negative. 4 times positive 4x is positive 16x. And positive 4 times positive 10 is positive 40. Okay, same thing as I was before. I'm getting smaller now. So I'm going to go ahead and add 6 to both sides. That will give me 12x on this side equals 16x plus 46. Then when I subtract 16x from both sides, because remember I'm getting all my x's over here. That's going to give me negative 4x over here equals, these will cancel. I guess I should extend my line all the way across. 46. All right, bringing it over here to the left. I'm out of room. Negative 4x equals 46. Divide both sides by 4, or negative 4, I'm sorry. So x is equal to 46 over negative 4. Again, you can put that answer, but a better answer is I can recognize that both of those numbers are even numbers, so I'm going to start by dividing both of them by 2. That's going to give me 23 over negative 2, and I think that's as far as I can go, so that would be my best answer. 23 divided by negative 2. Okay, go ahead and try these 2 problems on your own. I know they look a little difficult, but go ahead and challenge yourself. It's always good to challenge your brain. And then when you come back, I'll have all the work shown for you, and you can check and see if you did it correctly. But please don't just forward the video and copy the problem. That is not how you learn. You need to learn how to do this for yourself, and it's good to make mistakes because that's how we figure things out and get better at them. So please, please, please pause the video and try it on your own. All right, go ahead and check your work. Please make sure that you got all of your positive and negative multiplying in order. There was a little bit of that going on in there. For example, in this first one, the 2 times the negative 4 gives me the negative 8 out front, so make sure you're paying attention to those positives and negatives. All right, go ahead and try these last 2 examples on your own. But you're surprised you can even do this by now. You should be very proud of yourself. Go ahead and try them, and then come on back and check your answers. All right, looks like I'm going to run out of room there for the second one, so I went ahead and did the first one first. So go ahead and check your work, and then come on back and we'll talk about the second one. So please pause the video and check your work. Okay, let's try the second one then. And there's your work for the second one. Again, so watch, I put the -1 in there because there was no 1 in front of that negative, so make sure you're doing that. And then watching your positives and negatives when you're adding and subtracting and multiplying your terms. All right, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching.